This meeting is being recorded.
Hi, everyone, and welcome to the Waiting Room Entertainment. We are an organization that's ran 100% by volunteers, and we're here to just help you learn more about resources and different avenues to help you live a better quality of life with rare diseases. As always, I'm Amy Dietzen. I'm here with Rod Douglas, and today we have a treat for you. We have the entire Renew study team is here. So they're going to tell us about the program, how it works, and all that great stuff. So before we dig in, I just want to give a small reminder. Here at the waiting room, we are not physicians. Therefore, we cannot give medical advice. So if you are in distress, please reach out to your physician, or if you have questions. And if you have to, you can call 911 for assistance. So let us dive in. So I want to extend a warm welcome to Dr. Susan Murphy, and I'll hand it over to her, and they can introduce themselves, and we'll meet the whole team. So hi, Dr. Murphy.
Hi, Amy. Hi, Rod. Thanks so much for having us. So I'm Susan Murphy. I'm a professor in the Physical Medicine and Rehabilitation Department and Rheumatology at the University of Michigan. And I'm delighted to be here today with our team. Yan is going to be next to introduce herself.
Hi, everyone. Thank you for having us. And my name is Yan Chen. I am a postdoctoral research fellow working with Susan and the Renew team. So my main research is focusing on how symptoms like pain, fatigue, and cognitive dysfunction impact daily life functioning and also quality of life in people with systemic sclerosis. So I joined the team about 2.5 years ago when we started a pilot study of Renew. So my role in Renew is to kind of help Susan and the team to make sure the study is on track, like the recruitment for now, and maybe later next year, I will help pull out all the data and analyze the data to see if our Renew program is really effective or not. So it will be very exciting to see the results. And next, Sharon will be next.
Thanks, Yan. So I'm Sherry Hicks. I'm actually a patient at the University of Michigan. So I suffer from fatigue and pain and all the things Yan was just telling you about, as many of you may. But I'm also honored to be a health coach for the Renew study. And there's 3 of us that work on the team, and you will meet the others after Shannen goes.
Hi, everyone. Thanks for having us. I'm Shannen. I'm the study coordinator on Renew. I've been with physical medicine and rehab at University of Michigan for almost 5 years, and with Susan's study for about 1.5 years now. So my responsibility is kind of that first interaction with participants when they're interested in the study, screening and enrolling in the study, and then just following through their time to make sure everything's going smoothly as it should. Keeping everything on track. And I will hand it off to Mary.
Hi, everyone. My name is Mary Allure, and I am a patient at Michigan Medicine at the scleroderma program. I also, like Sherry, am a Renew health coach, and am honored really to be a health coach for this program. And last but never the least, I will introduce you, I'll pass it on to Adam, our other health coach.
Thank you, Mary. Hi, everybody. I'm Adam. I too am a patient at University of Michigan and have the wonderful disease scleroderma. I too am a health coach, and I also went through the program before becoming a health coach. Sherry was actually my health coach at the time, and somehow she recruited me into being a health coach. So I'm honored to do that, and I thank her for bringing me in.
So we're going to tell you a little bit about the Renew study, and just to give some background. So we represent a research team that works with the U of M scleroderma program. And I work primarily with Dr. Dinesh Khanna and his colleagues. And we started to work on research probably 5 to 7 years ago in the scleroderma program. And what's been really nice is that I'm not a rheumatologist, I'm an occupational therapist. And so I'm very interested in non-drug management for chronic disease. And scleroderma is such a great disease from the context that we have a lot of work. we have a lot of work to help people manage the symptoms that come up. People have a lot of different kinds of symptoms and different unmet needs from current clinical care. So at U of M, I was kind of delighted that they really wanted to have some research done on, how can we better serve our patients and how can we meet some of their needs. And when Yen and I started kind of talking to patients of the program, we found out that like their symptoms like fatigue and pain and like those kinds of symptoms were really the day-to-day struggles. And, when you go to the rheumatologist, you might only have a limited time and you want to talk about your medicines and, some other questions, but people were leaving with kind of these unanswered questions. And there's a lot of evidence that supports the strategies that we're doing in the Renew program. And really what we wanted to do with that is bring on these health coaches to have kind of those people be on the front lines to address concerns, using the evidence, but also using their own experience to help guide people with goal setting to try to reduce symptom burden. So Renew itself involves an intervention where people receive either an app or a website that has education. And Jan is going to share kind of what that looks like. And they can go to these modules and look at what specific thing they would like to start with to work on health behaviors that actually impact fatigue and pain. So in the app, which is what we're really trying to get people to use, you can have help with setting goals and things like pacing and physical activity and diet and practicing the positive things that are about resilience and positive attitude. Some of that really makes a huge difference in fatigue. So in our study, people, it's a clinical trial that was funded by the Rheumatology Research Foundation. So it's a pretty big study where people will get randomized to receive either this intervention with the health coaching or a waitlist control group, which is equally important to us. But I know it's sometimes when people get randomized and they don't get the intervention right away, it's disappointing. But all the materials will be available after a 12-week period, so we can collect outcomes in the study. So what's I think is really nice about this is we have the health coaches are people that you heard have scleroderma and have had some success in management and really can empathize with people, especially some of the newly diagnosed people where you might be kind of a deer in the headlights of like, what is this? And I've never heard of this and it's scary. And to see people that just to be able to make those connections, I think has been really nice. So we've been doing this trial for about a year and a half. We only need about 30 more people in the study. And we're trying to recruit for that, but also with an eye towards the future. Like the Renew program's not going away. It's going to just take different forms, and we're probably going to do different kinds of tests and different opportunities to enroll in it with the app and with various versions of health coaching and things like that. So part of this is just to advertise for it, and part of it is why we wanted to come and talk to you is just because we do need people to be in the program, especially if you're a male with scleroderma or if you're from a minority group. We really want people that are diverse because we want to have our content on the web and the app to be, as good as it can be. And we strongly use our feedback from people. So I think people enjoy the experience of being in the Renew program. clearly we rope people into being health coaches, as you've seen with Adam, and people kind of stay in our network, which is nice. So there's a lot of benefits that we think. But I think, that's probably the overview. Shannen is our research coordinator who helps us with the logistics, and she can talk to you a little bit about what that entails if you're interested.
Yeah, so it's pretty straightforward in terms of how we get people into the study. Essentially, if someone sees our flyer or something about the study posted somewhere, they can either contact me directly. My phone and email is always on our materials, or we have a QR code where they can fill out a survey, sign up with their contact information, preferred time to be contacted. That way I know when is best to reach them. And then it's about a 20-minute phone call to go through the whole study overview process. So typically when I first get on the phone with someone, I ask if they have any initial questions, give my brief spiel about what's involved in the study, make sure it all sounds good to them and they're still interested in participating. And then if they are, we go through a few questions to make sure they're eligible to participate. And then if they are eligible, we go through a consent form that gets sent to them electronically after the phone call. That way, if they have any additional questions about what's involved in the study, I can answer while we're on the phone. And then everyone does their first set of surveys for the study before they're randomized into their group. So they'll get sent a link to that, and that takes about 15 to 20 minutes. And then when someone does their survey, that's when they're randomized into their group, and I get back in touch with them by email with all the details for that. And then the only kind of step in between that applies to patients outside of University of Michigan is if you are eligible before doing your surveys, we'll request that you provide some proof of your diagnosis, since we can't use our medical record here to verify that you actually have scleroderma. So we collect that, and then people proceed with the study activities.
Hey, Shannen, do you have, I guess, some incentives for enrolling in place?
Yes. So every participant, regardless of their group, gets $10 per survey that they fill out. So if they complete all three at the beginning, middle, and end of the study, they're paid $30 total. And then for people in the Renew intervention group, there are a few different opportunities for follow-up interviews and surveys for us to get an idea of their experience, if they continued using the program after the study ended, how their symptoms have been managed since the study ended. And that's up to an additional $40, depending how many they do. And then all participants are also mailed a little care package as a thank you for participating. It has some things that we came up with that would hopefully be handy for people with scleroderma. There's a little tote bag, a jar opener, a wider pen, and like a stylus for using easier use of your phone and tablets, little things like that, and a little welcome card. So those are the incentives. Sherry, was I not supposed to say all of that?
No, I was just saying, don't give all the tricks out of the
I
bag.
know, give
But it is
away
a
all
cool
our-
bag. Shannen worked hard on it.
Any other questions about that whole process of getting into the study?
I just want to mention that we have had people from over 7 different countries participate. You can be anywhere in the world and do this study as long as you have kind of some basic internet. And we are hoping, everyone will have a smartphone or something that they can download the app. We have been able to accommodate some people just using the website, but because the app allows you to track your goals, and you can get feedback on your goals, and then the health coach can actually go over what you've done. That's why we're kind of encouraging people to use that. And the other thing about the app is that we created it with people who have scleroderma. So we looked at things like scrolling versus button presses, and where the button should be and what it should look like, based on people's hand function and other considerations. So We really also get a lot of feedback about the usability, and we're in the process of refining that right now for our 2.0 version of the Renew app with more content and some other things to come. But I know that sort of the stars of what we think is really helpful is the health coaching, and I wonder if one of the health coaches or all of you can kind of discuss like what's involved in health coaching. And I know we wanted to talk more about what that experience was like.
How do you want to do this, Rod? Do you want to ask us some questions?
Actually, yeah, that's what I was going
Okay.
to do, but there was a perfect segue from the doc there. That was perfect. Mary, share. I'll start, with you actually. So why did you want to become a health coach?
Did you say me or Mary?
Yes, you, Sherry, Sherry.
Rod, I think for me, becoming a health coach, we call Susan. She always goes by Susan, but Dr. Murphy, AKA Susan to us, she did not have to wrangle us like she makes it sound like. We wanted to be health coaches. And for me personally, I also have a peer mentor role in the scleroderma clinic program, but helping other people with the same disease that I suffer has been a passion of mine, probably since I don't want to say first diagnosed, because you know what it's like to have a diagnosis and be in the freak out stage. But after that, I realized I personally needed to build some type of community or village support. And what that looks like for each person I'm learning is different. But being a health coach here in Renew has given maybe some others one more tool in their toolbox.
Awesome. And Mary, so what's your favorite part of being a health coach?
So my favorite part is, well, it's kind of selfish because I really enjoy meeting the people and getting to know them and learning from them. I've learned so much from them. It's amazing. But I enjoy when they get breakthroughs. Like they're like, oh wow, I didn't realize these things could help me. And they're just small things like making sure you get enough movement throughout the day. And I love it when they tell me that they're feeling better and that, of course, that they enjoy the program. But again, back to my selfishness, I enjoy working with people because I hold them accountable. Yeah. And they're holding me accountable too, which is one thing I never expected. But since working in the program, I have my own goals and I try to keep up with them too. Like if it's making sure I get 30 minutes of walking in a day, or one habit that I've developed over the time is making sure I drink 64 ounces of water. Yeah. And it's just, because I'm working with people and we talk about these kind of things all day. I'm helping them and they're helping me. So it's been really rewarding in a lot of different ways.
Oh, I bet. Such a strong sense of fulfillment, so many levels. So, but Adam, so what excites you most about being a health coach?
Oh, that's pretty easy. I get to help somebody and coach somebody through a program that I went through and found to be extremely beneficial. So when I was first contacted about taking on this role, I was very excited because I've lived through it, and I know, even though the concepts are not new or revolutionary, they are something that once you put them together and you form a pattern in your daily life, they help. And I get to meet new people who are stricken with the same disease I am. We get to talk through some things, and then hopefully by the end of 12 weeks, they're set with that group of skills that they can use beyond and just see the benefit well beyond the 12 weeks. So I was very excited just to join the team.
Yeah. This whole program is so, it really touches my heart. I try not to be emotional about it, but this is so needed, this to meet you all and to learn what you're doing. And I mean, the purpose for it is so intense. I mean, we're all affected and touched by scleroderma, and to have something in place for a change is just something that I know my sister would have loved to have had. She had scleroderma and she passed, but thank you all so much for doing this. Thank you so much.
Rod, one interesting thing that hopefully you can't hear my dog in a minute, but one interesting thing that I was encouraged about personally was it was when Adam was in the study, it was like it was like what do you call it, Susan or Yen? A pre or Shannon, a pre what?
Pilot study.
Pilot study. Thank you. See,
Yeah.
I'm not the researcher. They have the words, but Adam was a marathon runner. I had a patient that was an avid skier, and Adam, I think, thought he could never run again. Possibly the person who was a skier, he was like, I still want to do life. And so I, in the past, had run, like nothing like Adam, but had run maybe a 5K, and I had skied, but I figured there was no way I would personally be able to do those things again. But both Adam and the other patients taught me, Adam was still on a treadmill every single day or whatever. And he met his goals and exceeded them. I'd be like, why don't you start out maybe like 10, 15 minutes on the treadmill? He'd be like, oh, I did 2 miles today. And so I was like, my gosh, this guy's, his disease was progressing further than mine. And he was on a treadmill. And also skiing, like I thought, oh, the Raynaud's and my hands, they can't hold poles anymore. Well, I skied for a half a day about a year ago with my family. And this was for me, like Mary said, and Adam, it was motivating for me as well. So it's a win-win being a health coach to us. I think I could speak for all three of us that it is an emotional journey. And there's days that your hearts break for patients. We've had patients that have lost spouses, that have been hospitalized, that are single parents with children and are hospitalized. So emotions, like, don't feel like emotions aren't part of this, Rod, because they sure are.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. I totally get it. I was a caregiver, for my sister, and, this group is so vital, thank you again so much. But yeah, I definitely can see it. It's so, just speaking with you all just for the short amount of time that we have been talking. My gosh, you guys are motivating me. I want to go run, and I'm not a runner, Adam. So I probably need some help, man. You probably need to call 911. I got tired.
Just start walking, Rod. 5 minutes of walking to start with. We don't want any 911 calls.
Exactly. Absolutely. Thank you all again.
So I think, I was lucky enough to take the Renew study, and Mary was my mentor. And just to touch on that a little bit, I always thought back to, oh man, if I could have just had this, 10 years into my diagnosis or 15 years ago, it would have changed the trajectory, I think, of the way I looked at myself, the way I prepared my goals for my life, how I managed my disease. So I think it's just it's a really good program, and I'm grateful to have been able to do it. So I can personally say, like, it was amazing to be able to participate.
And if I could add on that, when we meet people who are newly diagnosed, it's amazing how they're like, oh wow, I didn't, again, they're in the deer in the headlights type of mode. And first of all, they're like, oh, thank you. I've never met anybody with scleroderma before. And they're really excited to talk about it and to know that they're not alone. That I think is huge. And then to see me or to see Adam or Sherry, and here we are, like, I know Sherry and I are like 10 years plus with the diagnosis, and to see, like, oh, like, we give them hope. Like, it's not, yes, they may have to make changes, or, they have to do this, but I think we give them that hope. So yeah, definitely if we can meet them when they're newly diagnosed, I think it's really a game changer for them.
Yeah, for sure. Well, I just want to thank all of you for taking the time to talk about this really important project that you guys are working on. And could you tell us again, how could someone like me or someone like Demi, who's not here today, sign up or enroll for the study?
So Yen is sharing on the screen the QR code that you can take a picture of that with your phone, or you can click on that link, or you can contact Shannen by email. There's lots of different ways, and you know, if you have this available, or anyone can reach out to us, and we can get them to where they need to go, and then Shannen can reach out to them and ask them a few more questions. The other thing too we wanted to mention is that we have a research registry that if you're interested in Renew, but maybe not right now, or you just kind of want to be on a list for when there's opportunities that come up, we have a QR code again that you could take a picture of, or you could go to this website, or if you're talking to Shannen about Renew, you can also mention the registry. What you do is you go onto this and you give us kind of just very minimal information about a way to contact you, and like what type of scleroderma you have and where you receive your care. And we do lots of studies that people don't need to leave their house for, like focus groups that people can sign in just like we're doing now over Zoom, or like online surveys. We try to do a lot of what they call qualitative research, is really trying to get more experiential kind of information from people with scleroderma and caregivers, and maybe other people that are also around support network. We have a lot of opportunities, and these are, you know, mostly not the clinical trials that you go and give a bunch of blood or biopsies for. These are things that are really kind of self-reported information, and that ask you about what you'd like to know, or what kinds of needs you have, because that's what this is about, kind of trying to meet unmet needs in care, and give people the support they need for long term. So 2 different QR codes, but you could also email any of us, and we can make sure you have our information to reach us if you want to.
Perfect. Thank you, Dr. Murphy. So I'll be sure to sign up for that research thing, because I'm always really enthusiastic about being part of any kind of research study. So thank you all for joining us today on the Waiting Room Entertainment YouTube channel. And I hope you guys will have a great and happy holiday. And I hope that you get those 30 patients that you've been looking for to finish out your data. And it was just an honor to be able to spread a little bit more light on what you guys do and all the hard work that you're doing. So we really appreciate you.
Thank you so much for having us.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So nice